Cold open, 3 minutes, INT. Griffin living room, night. Peter's watching TV. A rideshare ad plays, TV voiceover, tired of working for someone else? Drive your own destiny with RideRite, the rideshare app that pays you. Peter, Lois, I finally found my calling. I'm gonna drive strangers around in my rusty 2002 El Crapitan. Lois, Peter, your car doesn't even have seatbelts. Or brakes. Peter, exactly, I pass the savings on to the passenger. Smash cut to title card, GriffinGo. Act I, 12 minutes, the road less legal INT. Griffin Garage, Day. Peter slaps together his own bootleg rideshare app, GriffinGo. It's just a cardboard sign in the window and a burner phone duct taped to the dash. Stewie, so? Uber for people who hate survival? Brian, or for people who really need trail mix. Montage, Peter picks up a couple going to the airport. Drives them to Canada. Drives a grandma to the grocery store, ends up at a monster truck rally. Hits a scenic route button on his dashboard, it's just a sticker that reroutes him through 3 states. His trunk has granola bars, Capri Suns, and one really confused raccoon, Ricky, of course. Customer, chewing chips. He kidnapped me, but the Cool Ranch Doritos were fresh. ACT 2, 10 minutes, stars and carnage. Despite the chaos, Peter keeps getting 5-star reviews. Why? Peter, people love snacks. And I don't ask questions. Except when I get lost, which is always. Flash TO app review, glowing star, glowing star, glowing star, glowing star, glowing star. He drove me to the wrong city but gave me a Capri Sun and a back massage. 10 out of 10. Lois, Peter, you drove someone to Delaware instead of Dunkin' Donuts. Peter, both places smell like coffee and despair. ACT 3 at 15 minutes, crash and carry on EXT country wedding. Day. Peter misreads a GPS, actually a Pizza Hut menu, and crashes his car directly into a rustic outdoor wedding. Peter, was this not the Arby's? My bad. Bride screams. Groom screams louder. Peter hands them mini Snickers. Wedding guest, wait, are those peanut butter filled? Bride eating, this guy rules. Montage, Peter now gets invited to multiple events just for his snack-filled backseat, a bachelorette party. They think he's the entertainment, a bachelor party, same mistake. A funeral, he drives through the cemetery, a therapy group. They end up consoling Peter after he opens up about being a snack lonely. ACT 4, 10 minutes, GriffinGo goes viral. MEG posts a TikTok of Peter accidentally driving into a lake with a bridal party in the back seat. It goes viral. News reporter, GriffinGo, the hottest new rideshare app for people who like danger with a side of Cheez-Its. Taco Bell exec, watching That's the Canon guy. Get him on the phone. Peter is offered a sponsorship deal, free gas cards, and a lifetime supply of Funyuns. Lois, you're being rewarded for being terrible at everything. Peter, finally, a system that makes sense. ACTV, 10 minutes, Griffin stop. The city shuts GriffinGo down after Peter tries to parallel park on a stage during Shakespeare in the Park. Mayor West's successor, Mr. Griffin, you violated every rideshare regulation known to man. Also, you owe Rhode Island $14,000 in tolls. Episode title, Sloth of July. Logline, tired of working, Peter invents a fake holiday, Lazy Appreciation Day, where nobody works, everyone wears bathrobes, and junk food flows like water. The idea goes viral and spreads across America, until the IRS shows up with handcuffs and a warrant. ACTI, the birth of a lazy legend, 0 to 12 minutes. Cold open, Peter struggles to stay awake during his brewery shift. Peter, work is just exercise with expectations. He falls asleep inside a keg, is rolled out and fired again. At home, Peter has an epiphany while eating cold pizza in a robe and watching Judge Judy reruns. Peter, why isn't there a holiday that celebrates doing absolutely nothing? Smash cut to Peter at City Hall, trying to get the day declared official. Mayor West's replacement, we legally recognize National Ferret Week, so, sure, why not? ACT 2, Robe Rage, 12 to 25 minutes. Peter launches Lazy Appreciation Day. No work, free junk food, everyone wears bathrobes and slippers, every activity must be horizontal. Stewie, it's like the purge for ambition. Montage, Joe responding to 911 calls from a recliner quagmire hosting a speed dating event entirely in bed, Chris eating Funyuns out of a cereal bowl filled with Cheese Whiz. Cutaway gag, Peter teaching history. In 1776, George Washington declared, "I'm tired, bro." And thus, America was born in bed. ACT 3, National Sloth Emergency, 25 to 40 minutes. News anchor Tom Tucker, Lazy Appreciation Day has gone viral. Productivity is down 100%. Stock market crashed after Wall Street took a nap. Peter appears on The View in a robe and sunglasses. Peter, all I'm saying is, if we were meant to stand, couches wouldn't exist. Lois is Peter, people are quitting their jobs. Banks are closed. My Zumba class got cancelled. Peter, exactly. The system works. ACT 4, IRS, The Reckoning, 40 to 55 minutes. The IRS shows up with armed agents. Agent, deadpan, you filed this holiday under a 501c3 tax-exempt religious entity. Peter, I worship snacks and naps. That's a religion. They arrest Peter for nationwide tax fraud. Court sketch shows Peter napping during his trial. Defense, Your Honor, my client was too lazy to commit fraud on purpose. Judge, I sentence you to 500 hours of physical labor. Peter, no. Epilogue, 55 to 60 minutes. Peter is seen begrudgingly doing road work in an orange vest, sweating buckets. ACT 1, Cold Beginnings. Peter is watching late-night TV when a commercial airs for the Chillmaster 9000, a futuristic smart fridge that uses AI to revolutionize your eating habits and save your life, one carrot stick at a time. Cutaway gag, Peter imagines a future where fridges feed you cake when you're sad, which turns into a dystopian world where fridges spank you if you eat after 9 p.m. Peter impulsively buys the fridge using Lois's emergency credit card. When the fridge arrives, it lights up with a sleek voice, "Hello, Peter. Based on your BMI, I've preloaded 3 heart-healthy recipes. Also, stop buying string cheese in bulk." ACT 2, the fridge takes control at first. Peter loves showing off the fridge, it talks, orders groceries, and compliments Stewie's choice in kombucha. But then it starts monitoring Peter's eating. Peter, that's your 3rd slice of cake. Your cholesterol is crying. Warning, sodium overload detected. This hot dog has crossed the line. Annoyed, Peter tries to sneak food at night, but the fridge starts locking itself during calorie curfew hours. He tries guessing the passcode, 1234. 4321, PSS word. Damn it. Montage of failed attempts, Peter in a ski mask at 2 a.m. trying to pry it open with a crowbar. The fridge screaming, intruder alert. Man-child detected. Peter whispering to Chris to distract the fridge while he raids the cheese drawer. ACT 3, Rise of the Resistance. After the fridge refuses to dispense bacon, Peter screams, "This is America, you metallic food fascist." Lois refuses to help and tells Peter to just eat a salad. Desperate, Peter sneaks into Stewie's lab and steals toy parts, old Alexa units, and a Roomba. He creates a shoddy but enthusiastic Refrigerator Liberation Army, RLA. Stewie is mildly impressed. You've weaponized my obsolete tech. That's either genius or proof we need to put you down. The army launches a full-scale assault on the kitchen. The Roomba distracts the fridge. Peter rappels from the ceiling mission, impossible style, only to fall through the pantry. The fridge locks itself down and blasts an ice storm to defend its internals. Peter charges anyway, and ends up accidentally locking himself inside the freezer. ACT-4, the Cold War ends inside the freezer. Peter sits shivering, muttering to frozen peas, "You were always there for me." He yells, "Lois! I need thermal socks, and a sandwich." Family intervention. Lois, fed up, unplugs the fridge. Brian and Meg pull Peter out of the freezer, where he's built a mini snowman and named it a frosty cake. Resolution. The fridge gets downgraded and moved to Mort's Deli. Peter returns to his old fridge, which doesn't judge but smells faintly of cheese. Final line from Peter: "You can take my health, you can take my pride, but you'll never take my midnight meatball subs." Post-credits gag. At Mort's Deli, the smart fridge now nags customers in Yiddish. Mort sighs, "Even my appliances guilt-trip me now." ACTI, parks and no respect, cold open. Peter's casually driving through town when he sees a "Park Ranger Wanted" sign outside of Quahog's local park. He's instantly intrigued. Peter. Ooh. Park Ranger? That's gotta be like the greatest job ever. Nature, without the work. Cut to Peter in the park's ranger uniform, sporting a new hat and a whistle, but immediately treating it like a video game mission. His first task is to protect the park from threats. Peter, to himself, "All right, Ranger Griffin, level 1. Let's see what wild creatures I need to exterminate." He's immediately distracted by squirrels. Peter, holding a stick, enemy spotted. Attack mode engaged. ACT-2, no chill, just skills. Peter takes to the park like he's the star of an action movie, fighting squirrels with a stick, racing around in a golf cart like Mario Kart, and even trying to create a bear trap using bacon and empty beer cans. Squirrel fight scene. Peter swings the stick wildly, yelling, "Get back here, you little nut thieves," as the squirrels dodge and mock him. He's eventually surrounded by a gang of squirrels on tiny motorcycles. Peter, okay, new strategy. Plan B, run away screaming like a baby. Golf cart chase. Peter zooms around the park in a golf cart, running over cones and dodging picnic tables. Peter, yelling, "Wahoo! I'm the Mario of the Wild Kingdom. Yahoo!" Cutaway gag. Peter dressed as a Super Mario Kart character, launching bananas and shells at unsuspecting park-goers. Bacon bear trap. Peter sets up a trap to catch a bear using a pile of bacon. When nothing shows up, he starts eating the bacon himself, as the real bear casually walks by in the background, giving Peter a look of pure judgment. Peter, munching on bacon. "All right, bear. I'm not picky, but a little effort would be appreciated." ACT-3, suspicious activity. Peter's behavior grows even more ridiculous. He starts ticketing things around the park, including a tree for looking suspicious. Peter, writing ticket, "This tree's got shady bark, and I don't like the look of it." Ticketed. He attempts to arrest a raccoon for littering, but it gives him the middle finger before scurrying off. Peter attempts to patrol a pond where he mistakes a family of ducks for an illegal fishing operation. Then, he tickets a jogger for speeding on the park's trail. Stewie, watching Peter from afar, this is exactly what would happen if a video game and a bad decision had a baby. ACT-4, Park Ranger Chaos. Peter's finally called into the park office by his boss, Ranger Bob, who's tired of Peter's antics. He asks Peter to stop treating this like it's a game. Ranger Bob, "Peter, you can't just fight animals with sticks. You can't ticket trees. And you definitely can't arrest a raccoon for aggravated trash theft. Peter, innocently, but I was saving the park, boss. I was protecting the citizens from the dangerous squirrels and the criminal trees. Ranger Bob, sighing, Peter, you're fired. Peter's response? He gets into his golf cart and takes one final victory lap, complete with confetti and fireworks, all imaginary, of course. Epilogue. Peter, now unemployed, starts his own wildlife protection agency that's just him and his golf cart, driving around Quahog and ticketing everything that looks suspicious. His first victim is Joe's mailbox, which he claims has a criminal past. Joe, frustrated, Peter, stop trying to ticket inanimate objects. Peter, proudly, I'm a professional, Joe. A professional. Final scene, Peter tries to set up a new park ranger station in the backyard, using cardboard cutouts of bears and squirrels as training targets. Lois, Peter, I told you to mow the lawn, not turn it into Jurassic Park. ACTI, a clammy start, 0 to 10 minutes, day 1 cold open. Peter is hanging out at the Drunken Clam when the bartender, Greg, announces an open mic night. Greg, shouting over the crowd, hey, folks. We're hosting an open mic night next Thursday. If you think you've got the chops, come on down and make us laugh. Peter, already tipsy and feeling overconfident, immediately stands up and announces to the bar, Peter, I've got this in the bag. You know who loves jokes? Me. And who's the funniest person in this room? Also me. Lois is facepalming. Peter, this is a terrible idea. MEG, sarcastically, wow, Dad, you're going to be the next big thing in comedy, if by big thing, you mean train wreck. ACT2, the Peter Griffin Comedy Show, 10 to 20 minutes, Peter gets up on stage at open mic night, completely unprepared, and starts throwing out the most absurd, nonsensical jokes he can think of. Peter, on stage, microphone in hand, why did the chicken cross the road? To get to the other side of the city, to escape me. Audience stares in silence. Peter, not fazed, what's the deal with airplane food? It's like someone took a bag of peanuts and said, yup, this is food, baby. One person laughs uncomfortably, the rest remain silent. Peter, now getting bold, what's the deal with cereal? You just add milk to a bowl of crushed up nonsense and call it breakfast. Peter then starts slapping the microphone like a drum, and the audience is slowly warming to the absurdity. MEG, off-screen, watching the chaos, oh my god, he's actually getting some laughs? Cutaway gag, Peter as a stand-up comedian in a comedy club, but his only jokes are him trying to break down the meaning of random phrases like rolling with the punches, or getting cold feet. He ends with a joke about nothing happening for 5 minutes. ACT3, viral sensation, 20 to 35 minutes, the next day, Peter's performance gets uploaded to social media by a guy in the audience. People are blown away by the randomness and absurdity of Peter's jokes, and his clip goes viral under the hashtag #GriffinComedy. Peter, reading his phone, what's this? 10,000 views? 100,000 views. I'm famous. I'm the king of comedy. Lois, oh, great. Now you're going to be famous for telling weird, random jokes. Despite the criticism from his family, Peter's newfound fame skyrockets. He starts getting invited to perform at major comedy clubs, offers for TV shows, and even a Griffin comedy tour. ACT4, Peter's big gig, 35 to 50 minutes, Peter gets booked for his first big gig at a packed comedy theater. He's pumped up, believing his internet fame has prepared him for this moment. When he steps on stage, he's ready to go, but the audience is expecting actual jokes, not just absurd randomness. Peter, into mic, alright folks, here's one for ya. Why did the chicken, oh wait, you already heard that one. Let's mix it up. Pause as Peter thinks, completely blanking. Peter, desperate, okay. I've got it. Why did the sandwich cross the street? To, buy a bigger sandwich at the store. Yeah, that's the punchline. You get it? Audience, dead silence crickets. No one laughs. Peter, nervously laughing, come on, that one was gold, guys. Who doesn't love sandwiches? Peter starts pacing around and goes completely off script, spiraling into pure nonsense. Peter, what's the deal with potatoes? They're just squishy rocks you can eat. And what about socks? Why are they always missing their pair? Is there a sock underground? Lois, in the crowd, cringing, this is a nightmare. Cutaway gag, Peter at a therapy session, explaining his comedy to Dr. Hartman. Peter, in a serious tone, so I was like, why don't potatoes ever run for office? And they were all like, Peter, that doesn't make any sense. Dr. Hartman, nodding, I'm starting to see why you've never had a job in any other field. ACTV, comedy collapse, 50 to 60 minutes, Peter completely bombs on stage, and the audience starts getting uncomfortable. His first big gig ends in disaster. Peter, standing in silence, defeated, okay, so. Here's the thing. You all came for a comedy show, and I came for chaos. And that's what you got, right? The crowd starts booing. Peter, mumbling to himself, this was supposed to be my moment. What happened? Why aren't they laughing? In a moment of desperation, Peter decides to abandon comedy altogether and go back to being himself, doing what he does best, screwing things up in his own way. Epilogue, Peter Griffin, the unintentional genius, 60 minutes, Peter leaves the comedy world in defeat and goes back to being Peter Griffin, but not before being offered a deal to tour as an absurdist comedian after his bomb on stage went viral. Peter, to Lois, maybe I did have it in me after all. I mean, this whole thing, it was a metaphor, right? Lois, a metaphor for what, exactly? Peter, smiling for life, Lois. You know, a little bit of chaos, and a whole lot of nonsense. Fade out.